Like all of you, I've been obsessed with the new Fallout TV show on Amazon Prime, but I didn't want to binge this show. I wanted to savor it, and so every night my wife and I got together and we watched the show together. And of course, this does an incredible job of emulating the vibe and the feel and the look of the Fallout universe. This is not based on a story in the games. It's kind of new threaded narrative that alludes to things that happened in the past, but in a very cool way brings us a whole new universe to explore with new characters, which really do a fantastic job of getting as wild and wacky as the Fallout game stories do. But it's all brand new. And so I was really taken aback when I saw early trailers and teasers for the show. It's like, oh my God, they nailed the look of it. I love the Brotherhood of Steel armor. I love the look of the Vault technology. And you see the Vault boy with his big blonde swirl haircut and his thumbs up everywhere. It just evoked such fantastic feelings. But I thought, are they going to be able to land this?
Holy shit. You're an actual Vault dweller.
I am. I thought all you dipshits were dead.
And I'm happy to report that Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy, who also ran the fantastic Westworld show on HBO, have done an excellent job of emulating the vibe, but creating something fresh and something new and something satisfying for people that know the Fallout universe and have played the games like myself, but also for people that have no awareness of this universe or affinity for it, like my wife, who has seen me play these games and talk about these games for years and years, but this is a whole new thing jumping into this TV show. And at one point, my wife did turn to me and say, this might be the most disturbing show I've ever seen. It is absolutely horrifying, some of the violence that transpires in this show, and I had to explain to her the whole VAT system and how the show is, just like the games, kind of a parody of our obsession with violence, and it's definitely black comedy. It definitely just goes over the top with all of this. I talked to her about VATs and how it was all slow-mo and targeted, and there's precision and just an examination of our obsession with gore in the games, and the show does that as well. And so you'll see just horrific things happen to the human body and the mutant human body in this show, and it's gruesome and it makes you squirm, but it's very true to the source material. And I was very impressed by Amazon Prime for letting the filmmakers just go wild with all of this stuff. But I do have to say the show does take a little bit of time to really get going. At first, we're introduced to a bunch of cool characters like Lucy from Vault 33, who's played wonderfully by Ella Purnell. She's terrific in this show. And her father, played by MacLachlan. And they set up this beatific society within Vault 33 in a really cool way, wonderful way. Of course, things get shaken up because this is a wild and crazy show. But we're also introduced to somebody that has joined the Brotherhood of Steel. His name is Maximus, played by Aaron Clifton Moten, and he does a terrific job as well. He really does an excellent job of just face acting and experiencing a lot of insane emotions in a whole bunch of different directions all at the same time. And honestly, he is such a terrific performer. You really feel for the character and his conflictions and his nightmare scenario where he's really understanding that he has joined this psychotic kind of cult-like force with the Brotherhood of Steel, who treats everybody like crap, even internally, and he is abused and taken for granted, and of course he goes through a really nice character arc in there. And then we're also introduced to Walton Goggins, who is always amazing. If you've never seen the Justified TV show, make sure you correct that. That is amazing television, and he is wonderful in that. In fact, he's amazing in The Shield. Everything that he's been in, he is really good. He's one of those actors where he elevates the material no matter what he has put in. But he is playing a character named Cooper Howard, who somehow, and we don't quite understand how, has survived a cataclysmic event, and he has become the Ghoul. And of course, we've all seen the images of him with his face burnt off and his nose missing, and the wonderful visual effects and makeup effects that they've done to make him look horrific. His performance is amazing. He is the embodiment of cool. He's the coolest Ghoul you've ever seen. Like, he is just able to handle himself in any situation. He's brutal. He's not afraid to shoot somebody's leg off, and he's also got the witty one-liners and also a lot of pathos. There's also a lot of sympathy that you have for this character with all the incredible flashbacks that they do in this show. But the opening sequences of Fallout really ask a lot of you as a viewer. You really have to take a leap of faith and sort of push away your disbelief, because there's so much convenience and coincidence that brings all of these characters together. And I have to say, it still sticks in my craw a little bit that all of these characters are in this destroyed Los Angeles area, and they're walking everywhere, and somehow they magically meet and separate and re-meet again, and their paths cross in some magical way. And if you've ever been to Los Angeles, it's a driving city. It takes forever to get anywhere in LA. It's huge, and it just goes on forever. And even if it's the wasteland and just destroyed sprawl, it's still going to take forever to walk everywhere. And you're not likely just going to happenstance walk into the same people over and over again. And so the show kind of asks you to believe that that's going to happen because nobody's got cars, everybody's walking everywhere, but somehow they all just magically connect and reconnect. They are all on the hunt for something, and it is kind of leading to different places, and they have tools to kind of direct them to destinations. But it still is a huge leap to think that everybody is just magically going to convene at the same time, at the same place. But once you get over that, and once you get into the intrigue of the show, and just like The Last of Us did, the best parts of Fallout are the ones that kind of take us back in time and help us examine what the hell is happening and how this has happened. There's so many mysterious threads that are dropped. There's some answers in the first season, but lots of threads, lots of questions about where this is all leading. It's wonderfully crafted, really smart, intentional storytelling. It brought me back to the best years of Lost and Fringe and X-Files. Like, there's some really amazing work in there for sure. And it also, you know, there's a lot of dystopia, there's a lot of post-apocalyptic fiction out there. This definitely stands apart with its 1950s veneer and its toothpaste smiles, and everybody's jolly and happy, in contrast to the ruin and the destruction everywhere and the grime on people's faces and the muck of the gore that we see, the bloody gore, and people just saturated with blood all across their faces and things like that, and they're just dealing with it. And then you cut right back into a vault, and everybody's, you know, got pearl white teeth, and they're happy, smiley, and their hair is perfect, and they're just trying to live their jolly lives. It's really twisted, and it's really, really addictive, and it just gets better and better and better. Now I am so in on this Fallout show. I can't wait for more. I'm so excited that we're getting a season 2. And even though it took a little bit of time for me to really start to fall in love with the show, I absolutely did. I can't recommend it highly enough. I still prefer The Last of Us, though. I think The Last of Us did a better translation to the television format, but this is close, man. This is still really good, and you shouldn't miss it. I don't think you have if you're a Fallout fan or a video game fan. But yes, this is also great for anybody. My wife loves this show as well. I'm going to give Fallout a 9 out of 10.